If grindingly hits it. Fear was his scalp at the dividing the order your state was seized our issues and a shot in the scorpion was nickney, Emperor's the Arvilla. Says 9 off in the Venus that develop, Sir works nerves, Sir Mamulate, Fiddle is a solar that's a lack from me, me. So you should help almost do Sir Eater, Amos, and if the ham is howling, it's survived that's near scare everything off the ruination, and let's hear some. Son Yazzer he what's happening. First night of Son Yazzer the feminist or mass law the whatever solar the member in three. Or if not so fear, slim missionary, Bamson, if nearest night is their Bamson laws or in such that. Fel them are seen and snary skinny vessel when if the braille in the field is may outlet. So shucks your record fear in the extra film. A nice not fake me.
Welcome to today's episode where I'm going to talk about how to set boundaries while grieving. Setting boundaries during grieving is necessary as it assists in emotional healing and personal well-being. It allows individuals to focus on their own needs, manage overwhelming situations, and process emotions at their own pace. By clearly communicating what support is welcome, it reduces stress from external pressures and ensures a safe space for navigating the complex journey of grief. Setting boundaries while grieving can be difficult due to emotional vulnerability and the need for support, which can lead to overextending oneself. Grief often clouds decision-making, making it challenging to communicate needs clearly. Additionally, societal pressures to grieve in a certain way can make asserting personal boundaries even more difficult. Grief is an intensely personal experience, and recognizing this uniqueness is important for healing. Establishing boundaries provides the necessary space to attend to one's emotional and psychological needs effectively. By setting clear limits, individuals can create a safe environment that facilitates genuine reflection and emotional processing. Prioritizing personal needs becomes important as it allows individuals to focus on what truly supports their healing journey, without being overwhelmed by external demands or expectations. Listening to and respecting one's emotional signals are essential, guiding decisions about when to seek solitude and when to engage with supportive networks, ultimately fostering genuine recovery. Encourage open communications with friends, family, and colleagues about your needs during grief is necessary for effective support. By clearly articulating what types of assistance are beneficial and which actions or comments are unhelpful, you establish a mutual understanding that can ease your emotional journey. This dialogue helps avoid misunderstandings that may add unnecessary stress or strain on relationships during this vulnerable time. By expressing your boundaries, you empower those around you to offer meaningful support without overstepping or causing discomfort. This proactive approach not only helps prevent unwanted pressure, but also strengthens bonds through mutual respect and empathy, creating a more supportive environment for healing. Prioritizing self-care is essential when navigating grief, as it serves as a foundation for emotional and physical well-being. Carving out time specifically for oneself allows for much-needed rest, introspection, and emotional processing away from the pressures of everyday life. This dedicated time is necessary for recharging one's mental and physical health and provides a safe space to confront and understand personal feelings and emotions. Without the intrusion of external demands, individuals can focus on nurturing balance that promotes healing. Activities like journaling, meditation, or simply taking a quiet walk can reinforce self-care routines, ensuring a healthier grieving process. In the last episode of Healing Our Grieving Hearts podcast, I explored the topic of creating a healing space at home. This discussion centered on how to design an environment conducive to self-care, offering practical tips on establishing a sanctuary that promotes rest and emotional well-being. Navigating social situations during times of grief can be challenging, making it essential to set personal limits on interactions. It's perfectly acceptable to decline invitations when feeling emotionally or physically drained. Social gatherings can sometimes intensify feelings of loss or anxiety, and knowing when to withdraw from these scenarios is key to self-care. It's important to honor your own comfort levels, which helps manage energy more effectively. It is also helpful to have an exit strategy for situations that become overwhelming, allowing you to leave gracefully and without guilt. This approach empowers grievers to maintain control over their personal journey towards healing. Managing expectations during grief involves balancing the perceptions and demands of others with your own personal reality. It's important to understand that external expectations may not align with your current emotional state. People around you might have preconceived notions about how and when you should move on from your loss. However, grieving is a deeply personal process that varies greatly among individuals. It's important to acknowledge that experiencing a wide range of emotions, such as anger, sadness, or confusion, is normal and healthy. Gently communicating this to others can help them understand your need for patience and support. Emphasizing this individuality encourages a compassionate approach, allowing you to progress in your healing at your own pace. In the digital age, technology can both aid and hinder the grieving process, making it essential to manage communication through deliberate use. Setting boundaries on social media consumption is important, as constant exposure to negative information can amplify stress. By limiting screen time and turning off notifications, individuals create a mindful space that fosters tranquility and self-reflection. This intentional digital detox allows time to focus on personal healing, free from external distractions. Encouraging the use of technology with purpose, such as connecting through supportive apps or virtual therapy, can also enhance this journey, ensuring it remains a helpful tool rather than an overwhelming burden. Establishing time limits for social interactions is an important strategy for managing grief. Before attending any gatherings or meetings, set a clear time frame for how long you plan to stay. This preparation allows you to feel more in control of your emotional environment. Make it a point to listen to your feelings as the event progresses. If you start feeling anxious or overwhelmed, give yourself permission to step away. Having an exit plan in place not only reduces pressure, but also provides relief in knowing you can change your surroundings when needed. This approach encourages a healthier balance between social engagement and personal well-being, allowing you to honor your grief while still connecting with others. Practicing assertive communication is essential when navigating grief, as it allows you to clearly convey your needs to others without feeling guilty. Using I statements is an effective way to express your feelings and set boundaries, ensuring that your message is focused on your personal experience rather than placing blame. For instance, saying, "I need some time to myself right now," communicates your need for space while helping others understand your situation. This kind of open dialogue fosters healthier relationships by reducing misunderstandings and encourages others to respect your emotional boundaries. By asserting your needs confidently, you empower yourself to prioritize your healing journey and build supportive interactions. Limiting exposure to triggers is another key strategy for managing grief effectively. Start by identifying specific situations, locations, or even certain people that intensify your emotions or bring about painful memories. Once you recognize these triggers, establish clear boundaries around them. It's completely acceptable to avoid these environments or interactions until you feel more emotionally prepared to handle them. By doing so, you create a safer space that protects your mental health, allowing you to focus on healing. Remember, prioritizing your well-being is not selfish. It's a necessary step in navigating your grief journey and regaining a sense of control over your emotions. Being selective about the information you share regarding your grief is an important aspect of maintaining your emotional well-being. You are under no obligation to divulge every detail of your journey to everyone you encounter. Instead, take the time to evaluate your comfort level and the nature of your relationships before sharing personal experiences. Consider who you feel safe confiding in and the types of support they can provide. It's perfectly fine to share only what feels manageable, allowing you to maintain a level of emotional privacy that protects you during this vulnerable time. By controlling the narrative around your grief, you empower yourself and ensure that conversations remain supportive and helpful rather than overwhelming. When dealing with grief, it's completely acceptable to respond to messages, whether they be text or calls, at your own pace. It's important to understand that there is no rush in these situations, and allowing yourself the time you need to process your emotions can be incredibly beneficial. Engaging with others on your terms means prioritizing your well-being and mental health. If you're not ready to talk or need time to gather your thoughts, give yourself the grace to step back. This approach helps to avoid overwhelming yourself while ensuring that when you do respond, you are emotionally equipped to engage in meaningful conversations with others. Remember, you are in control of your communication, and setting these boundaries is important for your healing journey. Lastly, practicing self-compassion is essential during the grieving process, as it encourages you to honor your feelings and prioritize your emotional needs. It's important to remind yourself that taking the time to grieve is not only acceptable, but also necessary for healing. Acknowledge that everyone's grief journey is unique and there is no set timeline for recovery. By cultivating self-compassion, you can navigate boundaries without feeling guilty or pressured by external expectations. This mindset allows you to treat yourself with kindness and understanding, enabling you to focus on self-care and personal healing. Embracing self-compassion fosters resilience, helping you to face the complexities of grief with patience and grace. The mission of Healing Our Grieving Hearts is to help individuals navigate through loss and find purpose through grief recovery, energy healing, and spiritual support. For more information on how to benefit from grief healing modalities that I offer, go to my website at www.healingourgrievinghearts.com, where you can schedule a complimentary grief breakthrough session. You will also find 2 guided meditations on the media page. To follow me on Facebook, go to facebook.com/k.fontana. Thank you for listening to this episode of Healing Our Grieving Hearts podcast. Remember, you are not alone in your grief, and your experiences and emotions are valid. Join me next Saturday at 10 a.m. Arizona time as we continue to explore the human experience and the science of grief, what happens in the brain. Until then, be kind to yourself.